right, people, we're back with my good friend Norman, CEO of Elevate, and today we're going to be talking about how to get a tech sales job in 2024. So, as of the time of this video being recorded, 2024, crazy year. Tesla just announced that they're going to go ahead and lay off 10% of the workforce. A few other tech companies have also announced layoffs. How does this affect people that are trying to break into tech sales for the first time?
Yeah, look, 2024 is going to be one of those hard years where if you're trying to break into this career path and trying to break into tech, it's going to be tough. And when you think about all of these layoffs that are happening, it impacts the market because they're highly qualified candidates that are at those companies, right? The on resume, just the resume alone, they're going to look a lot better than yours if you're trying to break in. They're coming from Tesla, they're coming from Google, they're coming from large companies that are tough to get into, where they're doing some of the best work of their lives. So when they get back on the market, they're going to look pretty competitive. But the way you win when you want to break into tech sales, the way you win breaking into tech sales is you focus on your best practices, which are you're a salesperson. Your entire role is about using your communication skills to sell products. Today, you are your first product. So that means if you used to get interviews by sitting and applying to jobs on LinkedIn, on Indeed, on ZipRecruiter, and you just thought, I'm going to spend 2 hours a day, I'm going to apply to 100 jobs, I'll get a couple interviews. That day, those days are behind you. This is not the year for that. This is the year you treat yourself like a business and you sell yourself as the first product. So what does that mean? That means you prospect. You find out who are individuals at the companies you want to get hired at who could make decisions about hiring you. You find out how to get in contact with them. What's their phone number? What's their email? What's their social media account? You message, you reach out, and you try to have a relationship with them directly. And you pitch yourself. If you don't have any experience, you tell them, I don't have any experience. If you have tons of experience, you tell them, I have tons of experience. You show them how you can help them solve their biggest problem, which is having good quality talent on the team. And the way you do that is by selling yourself. Because if you can sell yourself, you can sell anything. Okay. So you're not sitting applying to jobs, and that's how you get the job. You are treating yourself like a business. So you're prospecting, you're identifying potential buyers of you, leaders who could hire you. You're reaching out to them directly, finding their email, phone number, social media, and you're pitching yourself to them directly. And do that for 2 to 3 hours every single day. And you will definitely have interviews in 2024.
Ooh, okay. So when it comes down to that, I mean, those are getting the interviews, but what about when you're actually on the interviews
Yeah.
competing against other talent? Like how do you go out there and outcompete them on the actual interview front once you get the interview?
Yeah. So we train basically what you're having during these initial conversations in your first interview. You're having what's something called a discovery call. You're discovering if there's going to be a good fit between you, the candidate, and the company, the culture, and what their needs are in a potential candidate. So we train this technique and the skill set of having a quality discovery call here at Elevate, right? This is a sales skill. And you are in a sales conversation. You are selling yourself. So you need to be prepared that in that first conversation, a discovery call is two ways. The prospect, the person sitting at the other end, it could be a recruiter, it could be a sales manager, director of sales, etc. They're going to ask you a couple of questions to determine if you're a good fit for them. So you want to have an idea of what those questions are because you're going to be prepared for them. Questions: culture fit, technical experience, exposure to the space, scenario-based questions. Okay, so three big questions there. Your culture, right? What's your personality? How's your behavior in the workplace? What's your technical acumen? What's your exposure been like? Giving you a couple of scenarios to see if you can handle the same workload that they'll provide. You are going to have a couple of discovery questions prepared to identify the problems that they have and fit yourself in as the solution. So you're going to want to have questions around: who are the top performers? What makes them top performers? Who are laggards on the team? And where is there a gap in the team that needs to be filled in? What types of sales reps do they need to have? If you're new to the sales to the space, how do they feel about new reps? What's the difference between a coachable rep that's new versus someone who has tons of experience that came from Tesla but isn't really coachable, right? These are questions that you are going to ask, and we have tons more of them in a discovery call to highlight the problem that hiring manager has, and then address yourself and your experience and your resume as a solution.
And you do all, I mean, like you basically, is it that simple and straightforward? You do all that and you should be okay.
Well, if you have training, you'll do really, really well. So I highly recommend you consider going to Elevate to develop the sales skill to do well there. But yeah, it sounds simple. And most times, if you haven't practiced, if you haven't done it, if you haven't been in these sales conversations, it's not going to be that simple. But if you've gotten the training and you can sell, but you should be able to transfer that skill to selling yourself. Remember, we didn't talk about the close too. So the discovery call identifies if there's a fit. The close for you is moving to the next step in the process, right? Second interviews, third interviews, and you being the one that moves that needle forward. So another giant mistake in how not to get into tech sales is to have an interview and then wait for them to get back to you. You're in sales, you're selling the product, you're the initiator and the driver of the relationship and the conversation. Great interview. Who sends the thank you email? You do. Who follows up if they haven't heard back in 2 days? You do. You wait for no one. You have all the initiative. This is your business. That's how you break into tech sales in 2024.
Got it. I mean, overall, sounds really like a pretty straightforward game plan. So for the people that are interested, they should definitely go ahead and reach out because even if you're able to go out there and take some of the slither from this video and get interviews, you still need to convert those interviews. And I think without the training for the people that are
Very hard.
could be slick enough to finagle themselves to a job, this is definitely, I think, 2024 from everything that we're seeing. This is not the year for anybody in any job to not deliver results. I don't care what you're doing. It does not have to be in the tech industry. If you are not driving numbers up and to the right of that chart, you will not be part of the team for long. So invest definitely, have a conversation with us,
Yes.
invest in training. Because the other thing that I don't think a lot of people know that Elevate does is we don't just make sure that the people get onto the jobs, is that we make sure that they're supported and they're successful even afterwards. And is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think part of being trained and having a community, whether it's a network of your family, friends, or whether it's a program like Elevate, is that this is a support network for you. So you can bring to the community things that worked well, things that didn't work well. You can connect with mentors and alumni who've already been there, done that. They can share their best practices. You can find out that you might actually land the role, but it wasn't exactly what you thought it was. So now you're thinking about new roles and new companies, and you get to pull from your network. So again, 2024 is not the year to slack off. It's not the year to be unsuccessful, but it's a perfect opportunity for if you put in the work, you'll be massively successful. We have an entire AI revolution here. You can take advantage of everything tech has to offer if you put in the work in 2024. And if you do that, you will be successful.
Go, people. Norman, thank you so much for your time. For everybody else watching this
You
schedule
as well,
call,
Rich.
thank you.
See you, team.